Hi guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to another Retro Adventures. The end of another week, the end of our poll. Got a fantastic win for San Francisco Knights for Cyborg Commando. Now as usual, we'll cover this on the desktop in a wee second, and I'll be back at the end of the video with some other channel related stuff and some other poll related stuff. But before I do that, I'd like to take a moment to talk about my Patreons, who are wonderful, wonderful people who make all of this possible, including letting me make videos on obscure adventures for long forgotten systems. Now this is a freedom that I can only appreciate and thank them from the bottom of my heart, because their efforts are really appreciated. Now if you'd like to join them and help support the channel, and I sure wish you would, or you'd like to see these videos a week early, or you'd like to gain access to one of the other levels of patronage we've got, then there's a Patreon in the description down below. If you check it out, it'd be very much appreciated. But anyway, let's have a look at San Francisco Knights. So, this is San Francisco Knights. It's for Gary Gygax's Cyborg Commando by New Infinities Productions Limited and came out in 1987. And it's the first adventure for Cyborg Commando. Now, a little background for those who don't know. Cyborg Commando was the game that Gary Gygax came out with after he was forced to leave TSR. To raise money for different editions of TSR, trying to expand the business, he'd sold off shares of it. He'd obviously given shares to people who'd set up the business with him, etc. But these were all gathered up by Lorraine Williams, one of the Dill Foundation, the people who created Buck Rogers, where she got her money from that family. But she bought out TSR and basically forced Gary Gygax out of the company he'd founded. So he went on, he was still interested in role-playing, and he created or joined New Infinities Productions and created Gary Gygax's Cyborg Commando, a game set in the near future where superpowered soldiers have their brains implanted into big cyborg bodies. I believe they're around 10 feet in height. And there's an alien invasion, and the Cyborg Commandos are the only ones who are safe to protect the planet. Part of what the aliens do is drive everybody insane. So there's chaos across the globe, there's no unified defense, but the same systems which implanted the brains in the Cyborg Commando bodies protect them from the mental effects. So they are the last guardians. Obviously there's lots of humans who haven't been affected as well, who are working alongside them. But it's giant cyborg soldiers against alien invaders. Now, this sounds like a fantastic setup for a game. But Cyborg Commando has some problems. It tried to do a lot of things very differently, and those come across as quite odd. One of the weird things, for example, it tried to decimalize time. So all the combat rounds are 1,000th, I believe, of a day. It's just really odd timings and different things, because like the computers in the Cyborg Commando bodies are analog digital. So surely it's one or other, but just lots of stuff. It wasn't terribly well researched, 1980s, so they didn't have the internet to find out lots of stuff, and this is science fiction anyway, but it comes across as pretty weird. It's often considered one of the worst role-playing games ever. So what we're going to look at here is the first adventure to see if it redeems it. So let's have a look at the back cover, because I've been wittering on for ages. Cyborg Commando, Adventure 1, San Francisco Knights. The aliens have invaded. The California primary base, home of the elite group of Cyborg Commandos known as the San Francisco Knights, was destroyed in the attack. Now you must gather your resources and activate a new base on the rugged California coast without letting the enemy find out. This module contains 3 separate adventures, all leading to the common goal of establishing a new CC base near Big Sur, California. In Adventure 1, you ride shotgun up the Pacific Coast Highway, escorting a shipment of critical supplies to the new location. Adventure 2 takes you into San Francisco to recover a lost comrade from amongst the ruins, the survivors and the enemy. Finally, in Adventure 3, you must obtain a supply of rare earth minerals needed to create a Cyborg Commando character from a remote location in the Mojave Desert. But the mine and processing plant are now threatened by an unexpected infestation of alien Xenoborgs. This booklet contains 6 ready-to-play characters, maps of post-invasion California, South and Central regions, detailed map of the post-invasion San Francisco, also featured new Cyborg Commando game rules for CC field repairs and psychogenic links. This is the first adventure of the new Cyborg Commando game by Gary Gygax, Frank Mentzer and Kim Mohan. You will need the game to use this accessory. The hard science game is set 50 years in the future. In the year 2035, alien invaders conquer the Earth in a matter of days. Man's only hope, the Cyborg Commando Force, a cadre of super soldiers who are part man, part machine. Pick a copy today and join the Cyborg Commando's force. Story of Cyborg Commando Force is also told in the series novel The First Planet in Peril by Pamela O'Neill and Kim Mohan. Details in vivid detail the alien invasion and cyborgs who work to save humanity. The second and third books in the series will take the battle into the solar system and beyond. So, inside, we see, as often was with Dungeons & Dragons adventures, the cover is separate. And we've got a map of the California coast and a fairly detailed map of San Francisco showing where everything is. And we've got an introduction inside, telling you about the adventures, how to start them off, about the aliens, survivors, adult skills. It's basically fleshing out a bunch of stuff which wasn't in the rulebook. So we've got field repairs, how to handle character death, and psychogenic links, because some of the attacks and things are psychic. So it introduces those rules. Then we've got the player's introduction, which is an entire page of text where the Cyborg Commandos leave their base. They head to the South Pole because that's where the alien invasion seems to be starting. The world gets attacked. Their transport is destroyed. They have to walk under the ocean back to the tip of South America. They have to battle their way up through South America until they reach California, where they were going to their base again. And this is just told to you. It's not something the players take part. It sounds like a fantastic story, but the players don't get to actually take part in that. They're just told about it. They did these things. And then we're on to Adventure 1, a new base. And basically this is just travelling the final distance along to their new base. You're to assist upgrading a secondary base located on the west coast of the United States. So it's the journey as they go. There's a Xenoborg private which has come down, and it was sent in hyper-dehydrated state, and rainwater has been partially reactivating it. So they go against a Xenoborg private soldier who isn't fully reactivated yet. And eventually they reach the Big Sur base, and they get debriefed, and you get introduced to various characters about the base. There's another Xenoborg to go up against, keep some action in there. And you're introducing to the areas of the base and the characters of it. And that's it over. So, 5-6 pages of adventure there. It's very brief, it's just a short journey, and then a lot of introduction to your new base and the NPCs there, which is fairly reasonable. The second adventure is far more interesting. But again, we've got a mission briefing, which is over a page. Just over a page, but a page of text that the Games Master is expected to just read out. So we've had one page for Adventure 1, and now we've got another page for Adventure 2. But the setup of this is when the original base in San Francisco was destroyed, a Cyborg Commando Mark 1, the players are Mark 2s, was away from the base and has been reported damaged. But Cyborg Commando bodies are extremely valuable. You know, even if it's damaged, it can be repaired. A new human brain can be put in it to create a new Cyborg Commando, or the parts can be used to repair the players. So this is very important to retrieve this. The situation is, though, that the human brain in the body was destroyed, and the computer is carrying out its orders, including the orders of the commanding officer of the base, who has also survived, but he has been driven insane by the Xenoborg attack, their psychic emanations. So he has declared himself Emperor of San Francisco. So the players have to go up against another Cyborg Commando who's under the orders of an insane character. You know, they maybe need to find a way of getting it away so they can overrule the orders. They maybe need to find a way of talking the Emperor down or fulfilling some of his needs so he'll hand over the Cyborg Commando. There's lots of options there. This is a very open adventure. So we've got information about journeys there, the safe houses, San Francisco itself. We've got base personnel. survivors groups, we've got opposition, so we've got aliens, we've got human traitors, we've got different locations around San Francisco where they might journey, so it's fleshing out the area in great detail. We've got New Tong. In the middle here, we've got the 6 characters with their background printed front and back, so you cut these strips out. I like that a lot. Very heavy on the backgrounds, very nice indeed. Carrying on, we've got another insane character, the Prophet. We've got various groups, different locations, as we said, the people who dominate these different areas, leading up to the guy who's declared himself emperor. You can see his medals on his chest because he is a decorated military officer, even though he's completely mad now, Emperor Norton II. And it's a very good adventure. It fleshes out the area. There's some interesting setups where the players might have to get reinforcements from different groups, do different tasks for people. It's a nice adventure in the style of Twilight 2000 adventures, where they really detail an area and then let you have an open world adventure. Very nice stuff indeed. But the third adventure is way back to being very simple. We've got not quite a page, 2/3 of a page of background, just to read out again. There's a large amount of history to explain things to the game master, but basically the players are journeying to a mine out in the desert, a construction plant, to get some resources. But the plant has become infested with small Xenoborgs. So they're going to be clearing out the building, they're going to be rescuing any people there. Very, very simple thing. Shows the giant Cyborg Commandos coming out the back of a truck, because of course Cyborg Commandos themselves are too big to drive vehicles. But we've got the route there, and we've got an illustration of the base, or the installation itself. So, out of 3 adventures, the first and last aren't great. There's way too much explanatory text, but the middle adventure's pretty decent. I think that would be quite playable. Might be a bit easy if the games master is not willing to put in lots of effort to it. You know, really, if you were just playing it, it could be down to 1 or 2 encounters. Although the players are ordered not to destroy the Cyborg Commando body, so they should be trying to find a more intelligent way instead of just taking it to combat. But they could just declare it to be a danger, shoot it, take the damaged body back to base, and the adventure would be over. But there's a lot more in there if the games master's willing to build up the universe with the players. So, it's not a great adventure book. As I said, 2 of the adventures are pretty poor. But this does redeem Cyborg Commando somewhat. I will see if we review the 2nd and 3rd adventures at some later point, and whether they keep this up. So that was San Francisco Nights, and that won the poll this week with some 31% of the vote. A narrow lead which built through the week because it was competitive at the start of the week, with Tales from the Ether and Your Own Private Idaho both standing a chance. And I thought I was going to get a chance to cover Price of Freedom again, but alas not this time. I will keep putting it in the poll until eventually I do get to cover it, because I really want to cover Price of Freedom again. I do love that system. But anyway, it won with 31%. In joint second place on 22% was Tales from the Ether for Space 1889 and Your Own Private Idaho for Price of Freedom. In third place was The Key of Deliriad for Slay Industries on 14%, and way back behind was Nightwalker the Villy Affair for Millennium's End on 11%. And again, that's another one I'm going to keep putting in, because Millennium's End, I think, deserves more attention. And sadly, the polls never bear this out. But I'm going to keep fighting it, because eventually I'll make a video on Millennium's End, and you guys are not going to regret it, because it's a very cool system with some very good adventures for it. Anyway, they're all wiped out of the poll as usual, and we're going back to a retro RPG one. And most of these are suggestions from viewers. So, first up, we've got the AD&D Player's Handbook from TSR in 1978. Now, this is the first edition AD&D's Player's Handbook, the first role-playing book I ever looked at. And why I've never covered this before, I don't know, but somebody suggested, why haven't I gone back and done first edition, why haven't I covered 3.5 edition, etc. So let's start off with the earliest one, the AD&D Player's Handbook from 1978. and let's see if that gets in. Second up, we've got the Cyberpunk 2013 version. So before Cyberpunk 2020, there was the original Cyberpunk with no subtitle to it, from Artalzorian Games in 1988, and obviously it's led on to many later editions, but this was the original version, a lovely box set I've got lay around somewhere, and I would love to cover it and bring it to you guys. Why I've never done this is another astounding thought, why I've never covered it. After that, we've got Legend of the Five Rings from 1997. Now, this is a system I know nothing about. It's been in the poll before and it narrowly lost. So let's see if it wins this time. It'll be you guys introducing me to a new system, which is always fantastic. After that, we've got Boot Hill 2nd Edition. Again, TSR, and this time from 1979. Now, I've covered Boot Hill 1st Edition before, and somebody's asked, why haven't I covered 2nd Edition? So, sensibly enough, it's gone into the poll. And lastly, rather than booting up everything suggested by you guys, because some of it I'm not familiar with, I put in the Dark Tech sourcebook for Dark Conspiracy. Now, Dark Conspiracy is a game I absolutely adore. I really want to cover this, and it never does particularly well in the polls, but let's see it get some love. The Games Designers Workshop stuff from that period was absolutely fantastic, and Dark Conspiracy itself, although a flawed game, was really, really interesting and really, really fun. So, if you vote for that, you definitely won't regret it. Well, what else have I been up to? Well, over on DriveThruRPG, I've been putting out some comedic character classes. Some stupid ideas I had while I was away on holiday, I put together. Things like the Barbarian. A barbarian who goes around smashing things with his loot. And lots of other silly ones. A wizard based around his powers over cheese. Another wizard who's based over his powers over bedding and sleep. Just some interesting ideas I've put together with some jokes, just for fun. And over on RPG Gamer, well, we're still carrying on with the Knights of the Old Republic comics. We're getting towards the end of that, and we'll have the Young Jedi Adventures TV series to do after that, and a bunch of other comics I've got to catch up with, because I haven't covered those monthly series since the summer, so I'm 3 or 4 issues behind. So we've got a lot going on there. If you're interested in the Star Wars D6 system, then check us out over on RPG Gamer. But as usual, I think I've been wittering on for quite long enough, so thank you very much for watching. But as always, most of all, you look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.